Hey Buckets, we have a legend in the building today. Angel McCoughtry, 5-time WNBA All-Star, 2-time Olympic Gold Medalist. We are here to talk about her top 5 career moments and give her flowers because we will always be giving flowers to you.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm Jordan Ligons and this is the Buckets 5. I want to start with number 5. We're going to take it all the way back.
All the way back.
All the
should
way
make me
back.
feel old. All right, let's take it back.
Take it back.
Just
Not all the way back.
Yeah, a little bit back.
Fair enough. You get drafted.
Yes.
It's 2009. And you're coming from Louisville, and now you're going to the Atlanta Dream. What do you remember most just about that moment?
I remember that on draft night, each team has 2 minutes to pick the player.
Mm-hmm.
So if they miss the 2-minute mark, the other team behind, the number 2 team, can come in that slot. So I remember time was trickling when Atlanta was up. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, did they change their mind? Well, because I already kind of knew. I got the scoop before Atlanta's going to draft you. I'm like, yes, I'm about to be number 1. But can't wait for the world to hear.
Right.
So time is trickling. 1 minute goes by. And I'm like, what is going on? Everybody's kind of looking around. And the chatter starts. I'm like, did they change their mind on me? I'm like, no freaking way. 130 hits, 145. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is over. Finally, the phone rings. And they're like, okay, Angel McCoughtry, you've been drafted number 1. So later on, I asked them, what happened? They're like, we couldn't get through the line.
Oh my.
They said we kept calling, the line kept being busy. I was like, oh my God. Do you guys know how you scared me on draft night? Heart was like,
Just want to make you sweat a little bit.
Woo! A lot. So that was that. Number 5 moment.
I just think about, coming from Louisville, you were, best player in that program's history. And now you have a court there dedicated to you in the city. What does that city mean for you and your career?
Literally, it means a lot because, that's where I got my start and where my stardom, coming into Louisville, they were never past the first round of the NCAA tournament. Everything was about Rick Pitino and the men's team and the football. Women's basketball didn't get any attention at Louisville, right?
Yeah.
So came in there, we just literally changed the game where even now, like, they have 10,000 plus fans every game. And I'm just like, man, if you guys know when I first got here, it was crickets. But it just goes to show, like, how far we've come. And it was just an amazing story. So now, being able to give back, have the court, it's a staple. People were like, I'm still getting messages. People are like, hey, when I fly in, I'm coming to visit the court.
Mm-hmm.
So it's become a staple. And, expect more things because we're going to do a lot in Louisville. We're trying to open up a community center near the court. So working on that next. But, I mean, everything's been... literally, Louisville's like, whatever you want to do back here, you just got the yes. We don't care. So it means
give me the key to the city.
Yeah, they literally give me the key to the city. But I'm going to make sure I just do more get back stuff.
Yeah. The court is amazing. It's so cool. I know when I go, I have to go there eventually sometime. I will visit it. That'll be my first stop.
Yeah, I think the beauty of it is just the colors and the art that shout out to the artists, just how they made the colors pop. And I said, I wanted to really show that it's a woman. Yeah. And a Black woman at that.
Yes.
You don't see that often, especially on the basketball court. So that was just amazing just to get the art behind it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, going on to number 4.
Number 4.
First Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
2012 in London.
Yeah.
And then you got a second one in Rio, 2016.
Yeah.
You've always talked about how being a Olympian is like at the top. She's number 1 at the top. Why is that? Why is that so much pride for you?
Okay, so of course when you win an NBA championship, WNBA championship, that's obviously a top priority for any athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any championship. But like for example, the Milwaukee Bucks win. The city of Milwaukee is celebrating, right? Not particularly everybody else,
right?
Each state wants their own team to win. But an Olympian is for the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
You've done, that is just top tier.
Yeah.
So like that's the most top thing you can ever win in any sport because you're representing the whole country, not just a particular state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's to me what makes the difference.
Yeah. Where are your medals now? I always want to know this.
Yeah. I keep my medals in a Dropbox in the bank. I'm not telling y'all which bank, but just know they are safely there. And I will tell you this about the medals. They have a lot of power.
Really?
I mean, if you pick it up, you're like, it's just like beaming at you and they're so heavy. So, I mean, Michael Phelps and like Allison Felix, I have 2, but they have like 20, so I can only imagine their neck just hurting. They're heavy. So
I'm glad you're keeping on to them. Some people be like, we giving them away, but no, you earned that, so you keep that.
You gotta hold on, because I want my grandkids or great grandkids, farther down the line, even when I'm gone years to come, to be able to look at them and be inspired. So
it's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Moving on to number 3. Yeah. The first time we talked a little bit ago about the bubble season, and we talked about that during that time, because that to me was a pivotal point, not only in the league, but also for you, because it was your idea to have Breonna Taylor on the back of the jerseys during that bubble season. Why was that so important to you, and for using your voice and your platform in that way?
Yeah, well, first I got a shot at my guy, Ray Jefferson, who really was the mastermind behind the deal. He's over there in the back. Woo! And then when we talked about it, I was like, Ray, we have to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because, it was such a pivotal moment in history with Black Lives Matter and just with social injustice. It was a lot. That was probably my most draining season to play with social injustice and just the COVID situation, and
it was a lot.
The world not knowing what it was and trying to figure it out. It was probably the toughest thing. And then got to go to the finals. It was my year coming back from injury. So it's still a special season as well, because that's actually I think that's the last season I played basketball until I get back again, of course.
Yes.
But man, what a tough but special season. Yeah.
And it, just seeing the whole league kind of come together in that moment too, and just having that, the Breonna Taylor's on the jersey just furthered the conversation, but it was everyone really coming together to play.
Unity. It was that was the first time I've seen all of us just really come together. Since, of course, the BG situation, but that was a moment we've come together, and we've really shown the power in our numbers, and that was a time we've really shown how powerful women are in this country, and I think people started to notice that.
Yeah. And that brings me to number 2, in the sense of, you said that was your most draining season, but we all know playoff Angel McCoughtry is where you shine. Yeah. When the lights are the brightest, right, here you are. And so I'm just the playoffs in general is kind of the number 2 spot, but there's 2 times I want to point out. Okay. One is Atlanta 2010, where you were averaging almost 30 points a game in that postseason. You set the record for most points in a game that season in the playoffs. Yeah. You were only a sophomore in the league.
It was only my second year.
It was only your second year. What tone are you trying to set that early on?
I just, back then, my energy, my motor never ran out. I just could go for hours and hours, and I was so used to playing basketball I would play basketball all day. And so in the game, my motor never ran out. I'm 36 now, so that's a little different. Yeah. My motor's different now, but I would say back then I could just go, and even now watching it, you don't notice it then, but now that I'm older and I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I was like, is that what I was doing? Now you get to see 10 years later, how amazing it was. And, to still see people talk about it now. People still talk about what I did in college now. So that goes to show that the legacy has lived on. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Yeah. Well, yeah. And then the second playoffs was with the Aces in that bubble season, where you had 3 20-point games in a row. And this is year 11.
And so coming to the Aces, I was obviously it's Asia Wilson's team, but I was that vet. At that time, I became a vet because Bill reminded me every day that I was a vet. I didn't know I was an old vet until Bill told me. But coming in, my role was to come in and really mold them and teach them what it took to be, champions. They had never been to the finals before that. So when I came, we that was the season that Jackie and Asia and Hamby really got to learn a lot of things, and now we're seeing the result of that. Now you can see the experiences just there. Yeah, it's just there. When I first came, I'm like, it's coming. I'm like, it's coming. Now, oh my God, the experience is there and they are killing it. Yeah. So they're gonna get one real soon. It's right there.
Right there. And I saw in that when you were playing out of your mind, I was like, you want it so bad. I could sense it.
That's the thing. Like, you want it so bad, right? And sometimes, obviously, I've been to the finals 4 times and it hasn't happened. But I think what you do is you just don't stop. You just keep going. You keep going, because I think finally that moment will hit where it comes. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like you tell the kids, it takes years to get to that moment. They just see, kids will just see you winning the championship.
Yeah.
But they won't see, oh my God, I've lost the finals 4 times. I've gone through it. I've tried to get there so many times and hasn't. But when that time comes, they'll just see that. But that's what those moments are for that one, for that moment where you do get it.
Yeah. And then the number one moment to me is when you made that W25 list.
Oh, yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, I would say that is the number one moment. Because obviously the league hasn't been around a long time. Yeah. Only 25 years, right? And I think I came in when the league was only 11 years old. Now, of course, back then, when I entered the league, it seemed like the league had been around forever. You just don't get it. Now I look back, I was like, I entered the league in like it's a 10th, 11th season. That wasn't that long ago.
Right.
25 years later, to be up there with Don Staley and Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops, people that I watched as a kid, I'm one of them. So that definitely is a number one moment, because, you know, no one can take those moments away. Yeah. What you've accomplished, what's in the record books. So that's an awesome moment right there.
How did it feel when you saw your name listed on that when it came out?
I mean, it felt amazing, you know, because I had obviously battled injuries in my last bit of my career. So the last bit of my career has been some ups and downs. So to see that, it was like, you know what? No matter what has happened in your career, no one can take away what you have done. And what you have done, you put so much into the game. Blood, sweat, tears. Even before like the social media has become real popular, what we were doing, and even girls before me, you know, who probably, you know, sometimes we forget about, that has put so much into the game, who deserve so much more. It just goes to show that, you know, there's a recognition, and more are going to be in there. You know, we're going to do top 50, top 100. Yep. So it's going to be exciting to who else comes up in the list with those top 25 greats. Yep.
You definitely on the list. 101.
Yes.
Any moments that maybe you would put on your list of top 5 moments? That was my list, just fangirling out.
Top 5 moments. I would put probably my conversations with Kobe as one of the lists. Obviously, because we don't have him anymore. You know, those mean so much now. And I remember he was trying to teach me one of his moves. I remember I had told him. That I said, yeah, man, let me know when your girls start playing basketball. He said, oh, they're already in there. And so those moments right there, I think I will put in there, because, you know, Kobe was so awesome to women's basketball. I think because of him, a lot of the other NBA players have now tried to carry that, you know, that torch.
Yeah, well, of course.
Gotta put Kobe. Yeah,
that's a no-brainer. That's in the top 5. Well. This was so great to reminisce with you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up some great memories. You know, that makes me feel really, really, really good.
Yeah, we didn't go all too far back. Just a little bit. Just a little hot.
I love it, y'all. It ain't too far back just yet. Just remember that.